friends, this is Deepak from Apiteria. In this example, we are going to learn how to convert your website into an Android app using WebView. WebView will allow you to integrate your web pages into an app. All the major payment gateway features are implemented using the WebView. So let's see how to do this. So I'm using Android Studio 2.2.3. I'll create a new project for this. I'll name it as WebView app. Next, I'll make API 21 here. Say next. I'll keep empty activity and I'll keep the name as main activity. So first, in the layout of our main activity, we need to add a web view. I'll set the height and width both to match parent, and also I'll set some ID to this web view. So I will say web view main as the ID of this web view, and I'll remove padding from this relative layout so that WebView will cover the complete area of our screen. Right, that's it from this layout part. Now in our main activity, we need to first, I'll create the object of progress dialog so that we will show a progress dialog box on whenever the page is loading inside the web view. Web page is loading in the web view. Now in our onCreate method, first we will create object of a web view. So I will say web view is equal to web view, then find view by ID, and here we need to pass the ID of the web view which we have just added into our layout. Now we need to also set JavaScript enabled to true using this method called as getSettings.set JavaScript enable, and here we need to set it to true so that we'll be able to execute JavaScripts from our web pages which are going to load into this web view. Now we also need to set the WebView client. Now why we need to set this WebView client? There are various reasons. First, if we don't set this WebView client, we'll not be able to identify the period when the page is started loading and when the page loading is finished. So to identify that, we are going to use this WebView client. Also, we can identify if there any error on our web view. We can track that error using this WebView client, and we can also make sure that every link which has been clicked from the WebView will load inside the WebView and not on another browser or separate browser. So we will, to make sure that all the links are opening in the same WebView, we need to set this WebView client. So we are going to set the WebView client and we will create a new object of the WebView client here. Now here in this WebView client, we can add methods like onPageStarted. Now this onPageStarted method will get triggered. This event will get triggered every time when any particular page is loading into our web view. So in this method, we need to make sure that there is an internet connection when the page loading has been started. So to check that whether internet connection is available or not, we need to add a method where we will check whether internet connection is available or not. So for that, I'm going to create one common class for that. So I will name that class as common, and in that common class we will add one method to check the internet connection. So I will say public static boolean, and I will name that method as connection available, and we need to pass the context from the activity so that we can use the system service. So I'll add a context there as an input parameter. Now in this method, I will create object of a connectivity manager, which is managing all the connectivity or connections from our for our Android OS. So we'll say connectivity manager, then context.get system service, and in this we'll pass the service for connectivity service. Okay, now this is object of our connectivity manager. Now we will check whether there is a active network is available or not. If it is not equal to null, that means it will return true. So if it is active network info is not equal to null, that means there is an active internet connection. Either it is connected to a mobile data or it is connected to a Wi-Fi. So if it is null, then it will return false. So this method will give us true if this phone or your Android phone is connected to any network, either mobile data or Wi-Fi. Now in our page started method, we need to add if condition if not common dot connection available, and here we need to pass the context of the activity. So I'll say main activity dot this, and then in this if condition, if internet connection is not available, then we will redirect user to another activity. And in the else part, we will say progress dialog is equal to new progress dialog. We'll pass the context, then progress dialog dot set message. In set message we'll say loading, please wait. So I'll just add message loading, and by pressing add and enter, I will extract this string and I will add this string in the string.xml file. Fine. Now I'll say pd.show. Now this pd.show will show the progress dialog. Now this will execute if there is an internet connection, and if there is no internet connection, then we will redirect user to another activity. The reason we are redirecting user to another activity is if we show the error here itself, user will come to know that this is a web page and not a application, Android application. So because it will show the web page error on our WebView. So to avoid that, we will redirect user to another activity. So for that, we will add one more empty activity in our project, and I will name it as error activity, and I'll say finish. So we'll add code on our error activity later. Before that, we'll just write a code here to redirect the user to the error activity. So I'll create one explicit intent, new main activity dot this comma error activity dot class. So I'll go to redirect to the error activity, and also I'll pass the error message from here so that we can check any particular error and show the message on our error activity. So I will say please check internet connection. This is my message which I will pass on my error activity. I will again extract this string resource and I will name it as check internet. So again a string has been added to our string.xml file. Then I will say start activity and object of our intent class, and we will call the finish method here so that when user will come back to this activity again, we'll load the activity freshly. Fine. Now this is about page started. Now we will add one more method in our WebView client called as onPageFinish. In onPageFinish, this method will get executed when the loading of any web page is finished. So we will check if progress dialog is showing or it is not null, then we will say pd.dismiss. right? So we will dismiss the progress dialog if it is already showing on the screen. We will implement one more method called as on received error. This on received error method will get triggered whenever there is any error on our web page while loading on inside our web view. So to handle the error, again we will redirect user to our error activity. So I'll just copy and paste this code here. We'll just change the message which we are going to pass from this activity to our error activity. So that message, we will say something went wrong, and we'll again extract by pressing alt enter, extract string, and we'll say something wrong, and or to make sure that all links are loading in the same page, same web view, we need to implement should override URL loading. And here before the return statement we need to say view dot load URL, and in this we need to say request dot get URL dot toString. Now why we are adding this? To make sure that every link which has been clicked on our web view will open in the same web view and not in a separate browser. If you don't handle this, there might be a possibility that when user will click on any particular link from your web view web page inside your web view, it might open in a separate browser. Fine. Now this is about our main activity. Now we need to also handle the back press of our main activity to make sure that when user is navigating from our one page to another page, when he press the back button, he should go to the previous page and he should not exit from the activity. Now to handle that, we are going to use handle this on back press method to make sure that whenever user will press on back button of your Android phone, it will redirect to the previous page and should not exit the activity. So I'll say on back press, and here I will add, first we need to create the object of a web view. So I'll say webview dot find view by id r dot id dot webview main. If webview dot can go back, that means it will return true if user have navigated to a page from a web view. So we'll say webview dot go back, right? So if user can go back, then we'll say go back, else the default functionality, that is super dot on back press, that means it will exit the activity. Now this is about our main activity. Now we'll see what code we need to write on our error activity. So on error activity, we will first change the layout type to a linear layout. We'll set the orientation to vertical. Then we will add a text view to show a error message here. So we'll say width match parent, height wrap content, and I will set some text size there, say 24 SP, and then ID to that text view. So I will say text view error. So that is ID for my text. Then I will also add one button, width match parent, height wrap content, and I will set the text as retry. So this button, user will click on this button to make sure or to check whether he can again go back to our main activity. So that is retry, and one more button, match parent, wrap content, and the text on that button will be exit. In alt enter, extract string, extract. So this button will be user will click on this button and he can exit from this app directly from this error activity. Right, now we'll see what code we need to write on our error activity. Now on error activity, first we will create object of a text view. I will say error message, text view error message. Then before redirecting to our error activity from our main activity, we were passing the message. So first we'll check what message we are getting on this activity. So we'll say get intent, get extras, get string, and in this we will pass the key name. Now the key name from our main activity is this double in capital MSG. So we'll say MSG is not equal to null. So we need to make sure that we have passed something from our main activity, and if it is not equal to null, then we will say tv error is equal to, we'll just initialize the object by find view by id method r dot id dot tv error, and then text view error dot set text, and in this set text again we'll pass the message, right? So whatever message we are passing from our main activity, we'll show it on this text view. Fine. Now this is in onCreate method. We'll also add a click listener for both the buttons. So I will say btn retry underscore click view v. Similarly, I will add one more for btn exit underscore click. Okay. Now we will create one method which we are going to call on retry as well as on our on back press. So I will just implement this and we'll add one method here. So I will say private void redirect user from this activity to previous activity, but before that we need to check whether internet connection is available or not, else we'll show a message there. So I will check before redirecting user from this activity to WebView. Again we need to check the message. So I will say connection available dot we will pass the context of the activity, and then I will call intent, then new intent inner activity dot this main activity dot class. Then I'll say start activity, and we'll just finish this activity. Else we'll show a toast message to a user saying that please check internet connection. Now we'll call this redirect method on our retry button and on our on back press button, and similarly on exit button we will say finish. So finish this activity, so it will exit from this app. Now we need to set this click listener on both the button. So on retry button I'll say on click is equal to btn retry, and on click on exit button btn exit. That's it on our error activity. So now code on error activity and main activity is done. We need to add a permission. So there will be 3 permissions. First is internet, as we are going to access web pages from internet, so we need to add this permission. We are also checking the internet connection, so we need to add 2 more permissions, that is access Wi-Fi state and access network state. So these are the permissions which we need to add in this project. We are missing one line here in our main activity, that is we have initialized the object of WebView, we are setting JavaScript enable true, we have set the WebView client, but we haven't set the URL which we want to open in our WebView. So I'll just scroll it down and we will say webview.load URL, and in this method we need to pass the URL which you want to open in your WebView. So I'll say http:// and we are going to open one blog site, WordPress blog, which is mobile friendly website, into this WebView client. So that is technokimea.com. So that is the website which we are going to load in this WebView. So now I'll just execute this project and let's see the output. So you can see that now that app is running in my phone. You can see WebView app, and the web page is loading, and these are the blogs from that website, and you can see I'm scrolling through the blogs. Now if I click on any particular link here, it will take me to another page and it will load inside the same WebView. So, and when I press back button, it will take me to the previous page. You'll see that it is taking me to the previous page. Now I will just navigate to a few more pages. So this is navigation 1. Now if I see if there is any link, now you can see whenever there is a problem, some problem, or there is an internet issue, it will take you to the error activity. I'll click on redirect. Now it will take me again back to the previous page. Now I will purposely turn off the internet and I'll try. You can see it is showing me that please check the internet connection. Now I need to turn it on my internet connection, and now you can see it will take me again back to my previous page. Okay. So thank you for watching, guys. Hope this video will help you. Subscribe our channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to click on the bell sign to get the notification of every new video which we are uploading on the YouTube channels. Thank you.